look at how we can make use of the analytics lines and put in constant lines and see what values are above and below. Now, it doesn't look like we are significantly above here. We're about 20%. It doesn't seem like 2006. There is much of an outlier. But the problem with this is that we are at the year granularity. All of our axis data is in years. If I drill down so that it is months, have a look now at 2006, but then have a look at 2010, 2009, 2010. Now, it didn't really look at 2009, 2010. There could be such huge values. But if you drill down to something closer to the source data, it does look like there's something big. Now, another thing that you can do is to use the scatter chart. So this really gets down to a base level of granularity when used right. So let's say we have the sales volume in the x-axis, and then we have the average price in the y-axis. Now, currently we only have 1 point because it is averaging everything together. So what we need is the details. Let's see if we can drag dates in. So go down the hierarchy, and the further down the hierarchy you go, the more data you've got. So we can see, for instance, these two end months with 0 sales definitely looks like they are outliers. Now we can also add in a legend. Maybe we'll add in the legend of the region name. And again, this increases the number of dots we've got. So we can see potentially we've got things like this. Greater Manchester in 2004 in July. That is a bit of an outlier in that we have got a huge number of sales, but not necessarily a huge price. It's just somewhere separated from everything else. And then we've got these in West Midlands where we've got very low sales, but high level of prices. So there's no particular magic formula to identify outliers. It's the case of looking at the data at various granularities and going, what is this data telling us? Because at some granularities, for instance, at the year, you might not be actually seeing anything that's an outlier, whereas if we go down to the Christmas period of that year, we can see real outliers. And if you have got two measurements that can be plotted against each other, then do so in a scatter graph with as much detail as you can, and then see if any of these figures, these individual plots, are just away from each other. And they could represent outliers, they could represent typographical errors and represent outliers, they could represent typographical errors. You didn't have 1,000 sales, it shows you 10,000, or it shows you 100 sales. And in that way, you can investigate the data better and see if there are any obvious